When did you give someone a taste of their own medicine? Back when I used to work at a comic shop, we had our fair share of regulars. People would drop by weekly to pick up their pulls, chat about the latest issues, maybe argue about which superhero could beat who in a fight, the usual. One of those regulars was this guy. Let's call him Matt. Now, Matt wasn't exactly my favorite person, but he wasn't terrible either. Kind of awkward, big into sci-fi, wore the same Stargate hoodie every week like it was a second skin. One day, he overheard me telling another customer that I'd started rewatching Stargate SG-1 from the beginning. I mentioned I'd never seen the last few seasons or any of the spin-offs, so I was hyped to finally catch up. Before I could even finish the sentence, Matt jumps in with, "Oh, so you don't know about," and he would go ahead to mention a massive spoiler. I stared at him like, "Dude, seriously?" He just smiled, not apologetically, not awkwardly, like it was funny. I brushed it off at first, people slip up, but then the next week, he came in and spoiled something else, and the week after that, another spoiler. Every time I asked him politely, "Please don't spoil anything, I'm still watching it." He'd nod and pretend to understand, then 5 minutes later, drop another bombshell. This went on for 2 months. 2 entire months of me dreading his visits because I knew he'd find some new way to ruin the show I was genuinely excited about. And every time he did it, he had that same smug little grin on his face, like this was a game. At some point, I realized he wasn't just being careless, he was doing it on purpose. So I decided, fine, if it's war you want, it's war you'll get. One week, Matt came in to pick up a big pile of comics he'd pre-ordered. And just so you understand, I read a lot of comics. Back then, I was reading nearly every new Marvel and DC release the day they dropped, like it was part of my job, which it kind of was. So Matt pays for his stack. Normally, I'd bag them up and hand them over. But that day, I laid them all out across the counter, like I was about to perform a magic trick, and then I spoiled every single one. This one? Yeah, turns out the villain's not dead. He faked the whole thing. Oh, and this one? Major character dies. Super brutal. And this one? The entire plot was a simulation. He just stood there, mouth open, looking like I'd slapped him. He didn't say a word, just gathered his comics in silence and left. After that, he never brought up Stargate again. Honestly, he barely talked to me at all after that. He still came into the shop for a few more weeks, kept things short, didn't make eye contact, and then one day, he just stopped showing up. I figured that was that. Petty war over. I'd won. But then things took a weird turn. A few weeks after Matt stopped showing up, one of the other regulars, a guy who used to hang around with him, came in like nothing had happened. We were chatting, just small talk, when out of nowhere he goes, "You know Matt never even liked Stargate, right?" I just stared at him. "Wait, what?" He chuckled. "Yeah, man, he only got into it after you accidentally spoiled that comic storyline he'd been saving to read. You said something about it, I think 4 or 5 months ago." He was super pissed. Didn't show it, but he told us. And that's when it all made sense. Matt didn't care about Stargate at all. This entire time he was getting back at me.